migratory superhighways known as flyways across the continents in search of suitable feeding and breeding grounds. This year's theme, Water Sustaining Bird Life, highlights the importance of water to migratory birds. In studio with me is Emily Mateche, Policy and Advocacy Manager, Nature Kenya, and Kariuki Ndanganga, BirdLife Regional Director for Africa. Now, welcome to the set. Today, we talk about birds and their importance to ecosystem, especially at a time when the world is trying to address climate change. I'll come to you, Emily. Just where are we with regards to maintaining our waterways and the path that these birds need to be able to survive, and how important are the birds in the ecosystem as well?
Thank you. Birds are important in the ecosystem. They have a role to play apart from the aesthetics that they do provide when they sing for us, when they decorate the air, the environment where we live. They do clean up the environment like the vultures. Birds also are important indicators of health. Where we have birds, we have biodiversity thriving. And they're important because when we conserve birds, by conserving birds, we conserve a wide range of biodiversity or the habitats where they stay, be it water, on the trees in the forest, cliffs, rocks, anywhere they stay, grasslands. By conserving birds, we conserve the habitats where they stay, which are important for our socio-economic and also environmental benefits.
Now, Kariuki, when we talk about conserving the environment, conserving the nature around us, you are from Nature Kenya. Just how worse is the situation right now? Because as we know, birds like vultures are very important in cleaning the environment. But if we don't take care of how they live, where they feed, the water they drink, then they don't exist in the ecosystem, which then poses danger and even poison to us as human beings. From Nature Kenya, where are we and what are we doing to control and change that?
So, yes, just to clarify, I'm from BirdLife International, although working with Nature Kenya here in Kenya. But birds are crucial, and we are also doing a lot to conserve them. And in Africa, for example, you have 2,500 species of birds. Among those, almost a fifth of them are having problems because they are affected by various ways in which people do things. So, for example, when they destroy the wetlands, when they destroy the habitats where they are found, when they kill them directly, etc. So, we undertake various measures to conserve birds. So, for example, we are working together with the various partners to restore the places where they live. Say, for example, wetlands. We do undertake wetlands restoration. Also, we work with communities to undertake actions that are friendly to the environment, such that they do not destroy the places where birds live, because they also benefit from those places. Also, working beyond the wetlands, also the catchment areas, so that we restore the areas which are degraded, such that even the areas down there are also staying okay.
Now, Emily, let's talk about the waterways for these birds. They are literally considered as, let me say, petrol stations for them. It's where they pause while they are migrating, say, from Africa to Europe. They drink up, then continue with their journey. But as humans and our development mantra to always build and everything, we're encroaching into these spaces. So as we continue to grow, how important is it for governments that are there for impact assessments to be done for us to be able to save these waterways for them?
People, basically communities, governments should be cognizant of the important roles that birds play, and safeguarding the ecosystem should be key in our development agenda. We need to mainstream protection of the habitats where birds forage or where they breed or where they nest, because by conserving those habitats, we are restoring what we need and what we need as human beings and what we depend on for our development and generally our existence.
Now let's just go to facts. Some facts here is each year more than 2 billion birds migrate from the African Euro-Asian flyway, and the areas they go to are wetlands that are critical stops for them. Now the wetlands that have existed since the 1700s seem to be diminishing by the day. As a person who deals with the birds every day, I mean, you understand what they say because they sing, right? Yeah. So as we keep on developing and destroying these waterways for them, what in terms of population numbers of these birds are we talking about as we speak right now?
So, just to give an example in terms of the numbers that move between in the Africa-Eurasian flyway. So we are talking about 2 billion birds in terms of individuals. But also, it means that there are particular individuals of species. Let's talk about, for example, the flamingos that we have here. Most of the people are familiar with. We are talking about 1 million birds being found at a particular site at a particular time. So it's a huge number. And if, for example, you say the site is degraded to lower levels, like maybe it's reduced by a fifth, then it means you are losing a huge number in a single site. Then you can count in terms of scale. So, and also when you're talking about migratory birds, in terms of the species, here in Africa, we have 2,500 species of birds, but a fifth of them are migratory species. So about 500 and something are migratory species. And most of the time you'll find that, again, that another fifth is facing huge threats. So it's not doing very well. You mentioned about the statistics of how degraded habitats have become. So we have lost about that 5% of wetlands across the world over the last 50 years, since 1970s. And some of the wetlands, take for example Lake Chad, which is a huge wetland which goes across 4 countries. That one, since the 1900s, I mean, it has declined by a huge amount. 1700, sorry. Yeah. It has declined by 90%. I mean, the area shrinking by 90%, meaning even the birds and the livelihoods which are dependent on it have also really suffered during that time.
Well, now, let's talk about some of our own wetlands back home. Let's talk about Lake Naivasha, the Tana River Delta, Sabaki River, Estuary, Dunga Swamp, Yala Swamp, and Lake Olbosolat. As we speak, Lake Olbosolat is actually shrinking at a very high rate. True. As we speak, what does this mean to the community? And in the long run, what kind of bird life, where do they go in that instant? Because we've destroyed where they live.
We face a serious threat. The birds are going to be extinct if they don't have a place to stay. It's just like human beings. When you don't have a home, where do you go to? Your livelihood is threatened. So by these wetlands shrinking, or by them being threatened by development, it means that the future of these birds is actually dim. We may come to a situation where some of these threatened species or these birds that are small in number may not be able to survive. If their ecosystem is threatened, it's basically they are near extinction. Yeah. And
at the moment right now, we know President William Ruto is big on conserving the environment because we have climate change. He says we need to plant around 15 billion trees by the year 2032. But what are some of the solutions that we, both of us, all of us as a republic, as humans, we can take to make sure that we protect these environment that are important not only for the birds, but for us in extension as well?
So I think one of the important things is to recognize that this is not work of just particular groups of people, like let's say the civil society or whatever, to recognize there's need for partnerships, going beyond you know, the normal conservationists, working even with developing partnerships even with the private sector, developing partnerships with development banks, etc. So, and also as